What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Junkies Podcast. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys are commenting, and subscribing. About 95% of you guys watching the videos aren't subscribed. So I'm telling you guys, you don't lose anything from subscribing, but you do gain something. You gain some sports knowledge with the Sports Junkies, and you guys get introduced into a great team we have here at Sports Junkies. We got some interviews coming soon, so make sure you guys are staying tuned to see some of that. And make sure you guys are keeping up with the schedule we have. It's going to be basketball on Mondays. We got the NFL on Wednesdays, and then, of course, NCAA football on Fridays. And we tend to post each video at 10:15 in the morning, and then we'll typically post a clip around 6 p.m. and then we'll post another clip the next day. Today's going to be a pretty we'll see. We'll experiment with today's episode because, guys, I've been scrambling for these topics. It's not getting easier to find topics, especially for the NCAA. There's not much going on right now. No coaches are being fired. Ty Grantham is still the defensive coordinator at Florida for some reason. And Alabama's still getting 5-star recruits, which is one of the things we're going to talk about today. And LSU is trending downwards faster than we've ever seen. We'll talk about that, and then let's talk about the future for Texas A&M, because things are heating up in Texas, and I'm liking it. I like it. I feel like we need way more teams to be good at football when it comes to the NCAA, because I'm tired of seeing the same 4, 5, 6 teams, fighting for a playoff spot every year, man. I want to see more teams good at football, and I think Steve Sarkisian being hired at Texas is like the great jump that's going to make Texas maybe better at football team. We need that. We need that rivalry. We need that urgency back when it comes to football. So without further, let's just hop into the episode. All right, let's talk first. We're going to talk about Bama. Bama just got to commit. Emmanuel Henderson has just committed to Bama. Guys, remember a couple years ago when Tua left Bama and we were like, bro, that's it. The dynasty's about to end. It's got to end soon. You know what I'm saying? We just saw the Patriots have a down year. Everybody's like, the dynasty's over. You know what I'm saying? No matter how great a coach is, you always feel like, eventually his reign's going to end. He's going to get played out, outplayed into retirement eventually. With Nick Saban, that is impossible. That is impossible because he just reloads. He doesn't rebuild, he reloads. And when I say he reloads like a freaking minigun, you know what I'm saying, with like 300 bullets, because it shoots forever. My problem is he just got the highest rating recruiting class ever. I think he had 8 5-stars. 8 5-stars in that last Bama class. And then people think the dynasty is anywhere close to ending. No, no, that's what Nick Saban said. This team is too good, man. And me being a Georgia fan, watching them get the highest rated recruiting class ever right after winning a national championship makes me sick to my stomach. Bama could literally win about 3 championships in a row. I don't see a team that's really getting close to Bama's talent. I don't see a team creeping up on Bama. Everybody's talking about Ohio State. Clemson, I don't know. Clemson's losing Trevor Lawerence. I think Clemson will rebuild as well, but I don't think Clemson's going to be as great. You know what I'm saying? Going from Deshaun Watson to, Trevor Lawerence, and then now you got, Kelly Bryant, who was a quarterback for a bit, then going to Trevor Lawrence. But now they got DJ, and DJ's a great quarterback. We saw a hint of him when they played Notre Dame. They lost that game, but it definitely wasn't DJ's fault. So I feel like Clemson has reloaded. I feel like Clemson will still be a great team. Not to mention, I think they're returning a lot of players on the defense, except that cornerback they had who left the team for some reason. Please come to Georgia. We have no veteran presence at DB, and we need it desperately. But let's talk about Bama. They just got a 5-star running back for this year. This is this year's class. We're not even talking about last year's class, which I'm going to say one more time was the highest rated class of all time, fresh off of a national championship where they completely dominated potentially the quote unquote second best team in the nation. It's just not even, it's too easy for Bama. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of these recruits are realizing, like, look, man, you will not spend 4 years at Bama and not win a title. That's impossible. That won't happen. Bama will not go 4 years without winning a title. That will not happen as long as Nick Saban is the head coach and as long as they keep recruiting at a high level that they're recruiting at now. That will never happen. They just pulled in Emmanuel Henderson, and when I watch this film, he looks like a speed guy. He's got not really speed, because he's kind of on the slower end. I'm sure his speed will improve though, especially while he's at Bama. He looks like more like a slower back right now. He runs a little high. He does have great ball carrier vision, but it seems like he struggles a bit when we talk about finding gaps. I was watching some of his film. he definitely has a lot of room to improve, and let's consider he's only a junior, so he's got a senior season that we can look forward to. You know, who knows, he may hit the weight room and get, you know, crazy. He can break some tackles. He looks like he has some escape tackle ability on him. He definitely looks like he could turn into some type of joystick, but we really need to, I would like to see him add some more speed. I'm not sure how much of a receiving back he is. I've seen him catch a lot of toss sweeps. But obviously that's not really receiving. That's just, you know what I'm saying, that's a simple little, that's like a little game of catch. But yeah, this guy looks like a guy who can turn into a great running back. And the thing about Alabama running backs is they don't typically get 4 years of, you know, of play like teams like Georgia. You know what I'm saying? A team like Georgia, you'll come in as a freshman, you'll rush for 400 or 500 yards as a freshman, not even being the starter. You'll be the fourth string. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me like when DeAndre Swift was a true freshman and he rushed for like 600 yards on that 2017 team, you know, when Georgia, you know, lost in the national championship on 2nd and 26 because some random quarterback named Tua Tagovailoa, who I just made a video about on the channel, what was it, yesterday or a couple days ago for the NFL, talking about how he's needing to gain his confidence back. And with the Dolphins signing Jacoby Brissett, I feel like they were planning to do that, but it could snatch it away. But let's get back on topic. Yeah, it's crazy because, you know, if you're a running back, you commit to Bama. The thing is like I'm not trying to crash that system that Bama's built by not having running back start 4 years. I'm saying that Bama's so good that a running back will start one season and literally get drafted in the first round at Bama. Najee Harris was the number 1 running back coming out of his class, if I remember correctly, and he probably stepped on the field. I'm sure he stepped on the field, but he didn't start, I believe, until either was it last year or this year. And he's now probably going to be the top running back selected in the class. I'm pretty sure if this team knows what they're doing, I'm pretty sure he'll be drafted 18 to the Dolphins. And he'll go team up with Tua again. Oh my God. Yeah. Jesus. And and that'll be interesting. And then maybe, who knows, they might put LSU and Alabama together and they might select Jamar Chase with that 3rd overall pick. I don't know. They need to get Tua some help though, whether it's on the O-line or a wide receiver. And you know, Penny Sewell or Jamar Chase or Devonta Smith. They could, listen, the Dolphins could put the whole Bama team together. Like I'm thinking about that now. They could get Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle. And it's crazy because I feel like Jalen Waddle didn't really play this year, and I feel like a lot of people forgot just how good Jalen Waddle is at football. Like, I feel like people, like everyone's saying, well, Devonta Smith, you know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, Devonta Smith may be, I'm talking about the most unguardable wide receiver, you know what I'm saying? Maybe. And I'm going to say maybe because Jalen Waddle's unguardable. Well, maybe it's not the fact that Jalen Waddle's unguardable. Maybe it's the fact that he's so dominant and he's so fast and he's so quick that no one can really stay with him. There hasn't been a wide receiver or a cornerback quick enough to stay with Jalen Waddle, and that just allows him to get open. Devonta Smith gets open with his route running. He just creates a couple yards of separation, and then he gets an open field. It's almost too easy for him, I feel like, honestly. He can just the stuff he does, man. It's also hard to bring him down, but I feel like Jalen Waddle's, you know, more quick. You can be more versatile with Jalen Waddle because he can play outside if you need him to. He can also play slot, and you know, he's kind of like, reminds me of like a Tyreek Hill type build, like what he can do with the football. Like it's special what Jalen Waddle can do. But Dolphins have an interesting 3rd overall pick, and if I'm the Dolphins, I really want to go wide receiver. Even though I think they just signed someone. I'd have to look into that, but I think the Dolphins just signed a wide receiver. So it's gonna be interesting, man. I want to see what the Dolphins are building down in Miami, South Beach. It's gonna be real interesting to see what they do. But we get back on this topic with Emmanuel Henderson. Yeah, man, 5-star running back. He's, I think, the number 1 running back in the nation. 247 has him at number 2. They got him as the number 2 player in the state. They also got Ty Simpson, a 5-star quarterback who's probably going to be a 1-year starter. That's another thing. Like, Bama turned Mac Jones was a 1-year starter. You know, he got play time last year, but he was a 1-year starter, and Bama pretty much turned him into one of the top premier quarterbacks in the nation. And the thing about Bama quarterbacks is you need one skill to succeed at Bama, and you need to have an accurate deep ball. If you have an accurate deep ball, you can win a championship at Bama. It's that easy because Bama's wide receivers are simply too good. Bama recruits wide receivers better than any college in the world right now. Bama right now is wide receiver U. You cannot tell me they're not. They are. They're wide receiver U. I'm not going to call them running back U because I'm not going to betray my school. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to betray my team, you know what I'm saying, the UGA Bulldogs. But Bama is by far wide receiver U when we're talking about right now. I'm not going to say all time, although they are all time. Bama is wide receiver U. They might also slowly become O-line U because they have O-linemen that show out in the draft and then get to the NFL and show out. And it seems like they're about to become quarterback U, man. The crazy thing about it is Bama just bounces from quarterback to quarterback to quarterback to quarterback. It's like people always say like, yo, when this quarterback leaves, the dynasty's over. Boom, we got a new quarterback. He's throwing 300 yards, 400 yards a game, 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, no picks. And the thing is like, that's the problem with Mac Jones. A lot of people are nervous about his ability because I'm like, when you're a quarterback and your top wide receiver is Devonta Smith, a Heisman winner wide receiver, and you got Jalen Waddle as well, you got John Mechie III, you got Najee Harris who's opening up the RPO. You got to start to wonder like, how good are these quarterbacks? Or are these quarterbacks actually good? Or are they being carried by the talent around them? Because Alabama just has stacked talent. And I see why Ty Simpson from Tennessee committed to Bama. I don't think Tennessee was able to pay him. I think that whole thing was over. It's good. I can see why he committed to Bama because Bama's so great at having that talent around him. He's going to have him a tight end that can get open. He's going to have him 3 wide receivers that can get open. He's going to have that one speed guy on that outside who's going to get open downfield. As long as he has a great deep ball, he will succeed at Bama. It's almost too easy for Bama because they're adding just too much talent coming to Bama. And I'm not going to say too much because if I'm a Bama fan, there's nothing wrong with there being so much talent. This team can be beat eventually. There's got to be a team that can beat this team, or maybe not. I mean, I'm just talking out my neck, but I think Bama's gonna have a new quarterback. Who is it? Bryce Young, 5-star. You know what I'm saying? I know he got some play time this season. I don't know how well he played. I don't remember watching any of that film, but I know he's a great quarterback, and I know he's gonna shine at Bama. He's still got some talent. Bama's losing a lot of talent when you speak offense, but like I said, guys, Bama does not rebuild, they reload. And I know Bryce Young's going to work some magic. John Mechie III, I feel like, is now the story for that Bama offense. They're losing some defensive pieces, but Bama's defense has slowly declined over the years. I feel like every SEC team has moved more towards an offense, and even Nick Saban said it himself. Defense doesn't win championships anymore, and I've been saying that for years. And I feel like that's one of the problems my team has, the UGA, is we rely too much on defense. And I'm like, look, no matter how good your defense is, when you have an offense, when you're facing an offense like we just saw LSU have in 2019, or what we just saw Bama have in 2020, you are, or even Clemson in 2018, you aren't going to beat these teams. I don't care how good your defense is, they will burn you. Your defense is going to get tired. And even with that little, the substitution thing that Georgia runs, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. For a full game, 4 quarters, it's not going to work because eventually they're going to figure it out. And when your offense isn't good enough to put points back on the board, you're going to get smoked every time. That's why Bama always beats Georgia in the second half. That's why Georgia competes so well in the first quarter against Bama. The thing is Georgia's never had the offense to push them further, push them, as far as we need to be. Georgia has yet to put that together, but maybe now is the time for Georgia. But now I feel like Georgia's defense is slowly getting away. So it's going to be, this next season is going to be real interesting when I talk about the SEC. I think Georgia and Bama will see each other. But that brings me to another topic, because I'm like, maybe Bama and Georgia won't see each other when we talk about Texas A&M. Texas A&M's turning into a pretty good football team, and their schedule next season is pretty easy. This team is for surely going to be undefeated come October 9th when they face Bama. They play Mississippi State, easy. They play Arkansas. Now, I don't want to say easy on Arkansas. It's a home game, That's why I want to give them the edge. But Arkansas is becoming a pretty good football team with Sam Pittman as the head coach. I was kind of curious as to why Arkansas would have hired Sam Pittman out of every coach in the nation. But the thing is Sam Pittman was a great recruiter, great with football players, and it seems like he was a great head coach because he really turned that Arkansas team around last season. Even though they didn't really have a great season, I feel like he really turned them around for the better. I feel like they have a lot of success for the future when it comes to that Arkansas team under Sam Pittman. They play New Mexico, that's an easy dub. They play Colorado, that's an easy dub. They play Kent State, that's an easy dub. Their G-Day, not G-Day, I'm so used to. Their spring game is on April 17th. I'm going to be tuned in that, checking it out, just kind of looking around at the players. I just, want to get an idea of what this Texas A&M football team is going to be next season. The big thing that scares me with this Texas football team is the quarterback situation. And I know that's like cliche to say right now because I feel like it's the big story when we talk about Texas A&M is who their quarterback is going to be. Kellen Mond was a 4-year starter. And while I feel like he never really developed into the quarterback A&M really needed to be successful, I feel like he was still that guy who could win Texas A&M games. Now it's going to be harder for Texas A&M now that they've got to bring in a new guy, and they don't really have any young guys on this team. I noticed most of their quarterbacks are juniors or redshirt sophomores, so they're really going to have a quarterback battle this offseason. Maybe, who knows, maybe they already know, the guy they got, but it's going to be interesting. I think either King or Quezada will be the starter. Quezada, I don't know how to say that, but what I'm seeing right here on Dallas News, but it's going to be really interesting for Texas A&M. When we talk about, and let me tell you why, okay? When we talk about Texas A&M, I feel like the thing that is crazy now for Texas A&M is how great they've recruited under Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher has done a fantastic job recruiting for Texas A&M, and he has turned Texas A&M into a powerhouse. In my opinion, they probably could have made the playoffs this last season. They lost one game. That game was to Bama. Bama beat them by like 30 points. But who was beating Bama? You know what I'm saying? And I don't think really anyone wanted to see Texas A&M get smacked by Bama again, because I'm like, as good as this Texas A&M team was, the one thing holding them back, I feel like, was Kellen Mond. I feel like Texas A&M is a great quarterback away from literally being the best team in the SEC. And I'm saying that like in all seriousness. And I want Texas A&M to find that quarterback, because I want the SEC to be more of a challenge. I feel like right now when you look at the SEC, there's only 3 teams you look at as the cream of the crop, and maybe even 2 when we talk about Florida, because Florida's like that team that's up in the air. But I feel like right now there's only 2 teams that's like the cream of the crop in the SEC, and that is Georgia and that is Alabama. Now, we just had LSU, do their thing and but I'm like, that's like a once-time thing. You saw how bad LSU fell off this season, but we expected it, right? But it's gonna be, it needs to be more teams that are good at football in the SEC. Like, I like the fact that LSU had that great team, because we didn't see Alabama on top for once. It sucked that Gus Malzahn couldn't make Auburn as good as we thought Auburn could be, because that could have been interesting. That could have been a team that kept Bama from reaching the playoffs every year. It sucks that Georgia can't beat this team, because I feel like it would balance out the SEC a lot more. It'd make it more fun. But right now, when you look at the SEC, you just really look at Bama, you look at Georgia, and I feel like now you look at Texas A&M, but Texas A&M still needs a quarterback. They really need that quarterback that's going to separate the edge between them and Bama right now, because this team could easily beat Bama. They got a great defense. They got great players on the offense. We just saw what they did to North Carolina. And what they did to North Carolina is all recruiting. Okay, and I've noticed that when it comes to watching the SEC play other conferences, is that recruiting really stands out, because the teams will compete with an SEC team for 3 quarters or 2.5, and then that second half, that you'll start to see the recruiting, because their team's going to be gassed, while the SEC is rotating players around and staying full speed. And I noticed that a lot when it comes to SEC teams playing non-SEC teams, and Texas A&M really showed that, and that was really on Jimbo Fisher's great recruiting that I feel like he's brought to Texas A&M, being able to have them stretch forward and, take that big leap. But like I said, get a quarterback, please, for the love of you. Do whatever you can to recruit a quarterback. Get a quarterback in a Texas A&M uniform and put Texas A&M on top, because I'm looking at their schedule and I'm like, the only game I see this team realistically losing is against Bama. And I'm like, if they can find a way to win that game, which I don't think they will, but I think they have a high chance considering Bama's going to have an entire new offense. I think Texas A&M really can pull off an upset. The game is also a home game, so that gives them a little help. But you know what I'm saying, that guy on the sideline, Nick Saban is dangerous. And it makes it a bit, it makes it a bit questionable, because I'm like, as good as this Texas A&M team can be, it's Bama. And Texas A&M, that quarterback situation's kind of killing me a bit. It's keeping me from really giving them the edge, but I do feel like Texas A&M could upset Bama next season, considering let's see how Bryce Young is going to play. Let's see how dominant he's going to be. It's going to be he's going to be a true sophomore starting, so that's going to be interesting. Maybe Texas A&M's defense can get to him and slow him down, and maybe their offense can put up points. So let's see how good the quarterbacks play. And I look at the rest of their games, man. These are all easy. Prairie View, A&M, Ole Miss. Actually, I don't know, because Ole Miss is getting really good and scary under Lane Kiffin. So I don't want to just give that away. They're gonna see Auburn with Brian Harsin now as the head coach. Maybe he'll turn this team around. I'm not sure what his specialty is, offense or defense, but let's hope it's whatever he does, he can get Bo Nix on the right track, because Bo Nix was a 5-star quarterback and Gus Malzahn had no idea how to use him. And it's kind of sad, because when his freshman year, I feel like, was better than his sophomore year. I feel like Bo Nix really downgraded, you know what I mean? And then they face LSU to end the season. That's an easy win. This team could literally be the same team we saw this last season. I feel like Texas A&M will have the same exact season. One loss, they'll miss the SEC championship. They'll miss the SEC championship, and then I think the committee probably won't even put them in the playoff, because for some reason, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. They won't even put like one loss, undefeated teams. When we talk about Cincinnati, who potentially had probably the best defense in the nation, look what they were doing to Georgia. But then there's that recruiting again. I think Texas A&M will probably have the same exact season as this last season. But they beat Bama. If they beat Bama, they could lose one on any of these SEC games, and they could make the SEC championship. Probably face Georgia or Florida, because it's going to be one of those two teams, and they could get into the playoff if they win the SEC championship. But I feel like Texas A&M's big game is definitely going to be when they face Bama. That is going to be a big game for Texas A&M, and maybe, who knows, that final game against LSU at Tiger Stadium, that could be an upset brewing, because we don't know who LSU's quarterback is going to be, and that's going to bring the last topic of the day. LSU is another one of those teams, when we talk about them finding their identity on offense and, who their quarterback's going to be. It's an interesting topic, because I'm like, well, the thing is Brendan Marshall, I think is his last name, could return and start. But I don't think LSU is really going to make a leap with Brendan Marshall. I said Brendan Marshall, Myles Brennan, come on. And I think he's a good quarterback. Actually, I'm not going to say good. He's decent. He's decent enough to, let me find a, an example when I say this. And I don't want to piss off any LSU fans, because I know I don't want them to start lighting packs. I want them to understand what I'm trying to say. I feel like Brendan Marshall, if I do it again, you can dislike. If Myles Brennan was a comparison, if I'm comparing him to a player I've seen, I'm comparing him to Jake Fromm. He's a game manager. He's going to do enough to possibly win if he has the talent around him. But he's one of those players that's just not going to get better. And we saw that from Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm did not get better from his true freshman season, where he played so well. He didn't get better at all. And maybe that's something that's on Kirby Smart, and maybe this could be on Ed Orgeron. We saw Joe Burrow turn into I'm talking the best, possibly had the best season in NCAA history under Ed Orgeron. But how much credit are we giving to Ed, and then how much credit are we going to give to the offensive talent Joe Burrow had around him when we talk about Joe Brady? Because obviously they lost a lot of those. They lost Joe Brady last season, and this offense just they fell down a hill, even though they found a way to beat Florida. Marco Wilson, shout out Marco Wilson. But I think Brennan is. I don't think Brennan's gonna improve. And I may eat my words, because who knows? Next season he could have a Joe Burrow type year. Who knows? But I really don't think I don't really think he's improving. I don't think he's getting better. I don't think he will get better, because honestly, I don't feel like that's LSU's nature. But I'm gonna tell you a player I feel like kind of surprised me when he played, and I feel like he's a good player, and I feel like LSU should really give him a lot of some play time and some first team reps when it comes to spring practice, which I feel like they probably have already started. They should be starting this week. And that guy's Max Johnston. I really like Max Johnston's game. He's kind of like a pocket passer, but he can extend plays downfield, kind of like Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying he plays like Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying when we talk about, I'm trying to compare him to a quarterback, and I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers is that pocket passer guy, but he can extend a play with his feet. You know what I'm saying, like that. And like he's the quarterback that led that win against Florida, and I think Florida and Ole Miss. And Ole Miss was a great team last season, and I feel like Max Johnston is the answer. You know what I'm saying? Brennan, I don't want to say his name wrong again. Myles Brennan. Remember, if I say his name wrong again, you can dislike. Myles Brennan, he's great, but I don't think he's going to get better. But I feel like Max Johnston could be the savior for LSU. I feel like Max Johnston is LSU's best option right now to go with that quarterback. Let me know what you think, LSU fans. Like, let me know down in the comments what you're thinking, because I really don't have much else to say about this topic besides the fact that LSU is kind of in that same situation I feel like Georgia was in this year. I feel like LSU will get better this season. They'll be good. They'll be decent at football. They don't look forward to beating Bama anytime soon. Sorry, I'm just sorry. But I do think they'll be way better than they were last year. Hopefully, if Max Johnston is a starter. He started and he had those two big wins against Florida and Ole Miss, and you can't look past that if you're Edo. I like Myles Brennan, but I think Max Johnston is right now the future for LSU, and I think he was a true freshman last season, so he's a true sophomore now. You can get him for starting for at least 2 more years. Let's see how good he is, possibly 3, and I think that's what it's going to take for LSU to get back on the right track. LSU's got some talent that developed last season. They bring in some talent with some pretty decent recruiting. But Edo's got to reshape this LSU football team like he did the first time. I think he'll do it. And maybe he needs better coaches around him like he did back in 2019. Or maybe he just needs a Joe Burrow type player to build again. And maybe that guy's Max Johnston. Maybe it's Myles Brennan. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably Max Johnston. I like Max Johnston. And let's hope they can get back on the right track and get back to beating Bama soon and making the playoff and winning championships, which I don't think will happen. But good luck to them. I don't want to doubt them. But we'll see what that holds for LSU. But anyway, guys, this has been the Sports Junkies Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Guys, please comment down below and let us know what you're thinking. We respond to the comments. We love interacting with our fans. Even when it's, some hate messages, man, we will clown you in the comments. So don't make us have to. Also, make sure you guys subscribe. We're going to be doing we're going to post a subscriber giveaway video for 100 subs at 80 subs. We just want to give some gifts back to our loyal subscribers and some of the subscribers we have, whether you're new or old. We want to give back and just thank you guys for the support. So when we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to be doing a giveaway, and we're going to announce the giveaway at 80 subs, which we are 2 subs away from. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like. This has been Kid, guys. I'll see you soon. And actually, matter of fact, before I say I'll see you soon, make sure you guys are checking out our social media, man. We got the Instagram, we're getting a Twitter set up, and we're even getting a TikTok set up by the ways of JT. So make sure you guys are checking out the social medias. We got the social medias on the screen. Make sure you guys are checking out. Go follow those. We post snippets from the podcast. We let you know when we're uploading, and we just kind of let you guys know what we're thinking. And you guys can even comment on swipe up on the story. Let us know. Also, we have an email, so send some hot takes to our email. Give us some topics to talk about. We can definitely talk about them on the podcast. And I'm kind of dragging this a bit now. But anyways, guys, this has been Kid. See you soon.